sport has the power to change the world.
I have memories, albeit them very faint now, of waking up a few times with a huge smile on my face as a kid. The reason, in my far-off dreams and being a sports lover, I'd scored a try, perhaps even dotted down twice at Newlands in a Springbok jersey. Of course, nothing of the sort was even remotely possible for me from a high-performance point of view. I was certainly no Brian Abana, that's for sure. But it was those sorts of dreams that demonstrate the true power of sport and the hope and opportunity that it offers. And so this edition of our podcast, we bring you the story of dreams realized, of hopes displacing despair, of young lives changed immeasurably. My name is John Smythe, your host, and thank you for downloading this episode and subscribing to the series. Welcome to the show. On Monday the 2nd of April this year, a group of teenage rugby players gathered at Cape Town International Airport with a trip of a lifetime before them. They were all from the Cool Play organisation who, along with Laureus South Africa, had struck a plan to go to one of World Rugby's greatest spectacles, the Hong Kong Sevens. So, who are these kids? Where are they from? And how were they selected for this incredible opportunity? The Executive Director of Laureus South Africa is Brett Graham.
Cool Play are one of the 25 programs in South Africa that Laureus currently funds and supports. They are a program that uses rugby and more recently netball to effect change in communities in the greater Cape Town area. Their primary objective is to use sport to teach life skills to school children who lack in stable and supportive family structures. And they believe, as many of our programs do, that sport provides the ideal environment to translate and embed pertinent life skills and mechanisms for these youth to cope in their respective communities. Cool Play focus on 4 key areas with regards to the participants that they have at their program. The first of which is improving the social and emotional well-being of the participants. They evaluate social and emotional learning strengths and levels of antisocial behavior. Secondly, their objective is to better school and academic performance. So they compare students' exam results, attendance, and measure classroom behavior. Thirdly, they obviously using sport want to improve physical health of all their participants, and they measure the number of sports sessions attended and level of substance abuse. And finally, through all of this, they're obviously wanting to improve the self-confidence of the participants, and they measure this perceived self-confidence and self-efficacy as well. So all key areas and objectives for Cool Play, and they're using rugby and netball to effect this change. The thinking behind the exchange was principally off the back of a similar exchange we hosted about 6 years ago with another rugby program we funded at the time called Soweto Schools Rugby. We just saw the impact that this exchange had on these young men that had been out to Hong Kong and spent the week out there. So we decided that we need to do something again. We need to do something similar, and this opportunity that presents itself in Hong Kong with Laureus being announced recently as the official charity partner of the Hong Kong Sevens, we just thought this was the perfect platform for us to do something. We reached out to Cool Play. They were enthusiastic, very favorable as to our intentions and what we wanted to achieve with this exchange. And so yeah, we're very much looking forward to getting out there. They have a very strong methodology, and we really felt that they would be best suited to use this exchange in the way that we're hoping that they will, that they'll come back at the end of this, and these 12 young boys that will return to the program will be able to impart that knowledge and the experience to the other young participants in the program and show them what is possible through sport, through rugby. So very excited all around to get out there and to see what Hong Kong has in store for us.
With an itinerary so packed it matched that of a professional team heading off on tour, dinners with diplomats, sporting legends, and training sessions with the top teams. For some who'd never left Cape Town before, yet alone South Africa, seatbelts were fastly tightened with the next stop, Hong Kong.
My first impressions being here was the food. I thought it was gonna be like food that I'm not familiar with, but when I saw it, it was nice.
When I first came here, I was absolutely amazed because it's my first time being here, so I'm a bit jumpy, man, because I'm excited and I really enjoy the food here and the people. They're very friendly.
For a lot of them, they haven't even been into Cape Town city centre, which is a couple of miles from where they live. Now suddenly, they went to Dubai International, they're in Hong Kong, they're eating food they've never seen in their lives before, they're in a place where, I think for a lot of them, they're still so in awe of what's actually happening. I just hope they can take it in and really just learn on a daily basis, because it is life-changing and it can be life-changing, but you need to be able to realise the opportunity and make the most of it.
Rugby is a sport we normally do, but now it's going to be a bit special, if I can say that, because we're playing in another country.
For me, it's going to be a good experience playing against teams I've never played before, because it's like I'm testing myself for the first time against other countries and children I've never played before.
It's difficult to put in words what they are actually experiencing, to understand where these kids come from, to understand what their lives are like and what they're experiencing at the moment. I don't think we've got an idea even. So, for me, just being here and looking at the field at the moment, having the national seven side of South Africa training on the same field as the kids, while they're playing, with the women's team as well, it shows the beauty of the sport. It shows that it sort of brings people together, crosses boundaries in terms of male, female, advantage, disadvantage, everything. So it's an amazing occasion, and for the kids it really is life-changing. So to be part of it's phenomenal.
You know what we teach as a program in Cape Town in South Africa, we want to take the boys to become men, and the way they stepped up today when they met the new guys of Operation Breakthrough last night and how they are today, it's more like they know each other for more than just a day, and how they are speaking, how they are just doing the small finer details, just by saying hello and hi. Some of them can actually speak the language now as well, so there's a lot of changes in that as well.
I have a lot of problems, but when I'm on the field with the boys, and for me it calms my nerves, and to get to play with them and experience things I've never experienced before, it's going to be quite fun. So rugby has brought me a long way so far. My father can't actually stop texting me because he got to my coach yesterday and this morning actually, and he's like, tell my son to text me. I told him this morning that everything is going fine and I'll send him the photos and things I've done later on, but he's quite fine so far.
We were lucky to be part of Cool Play and Lawrence as well, because they gave us the opportunity to come here overseas and play rugby in Hong Kong.
It all sits in the name, the Laureus Sports for Good Foundation, and it is what we're seeing here, using sport as a tool to help in terms of social change.
A few years ago, as you guys know, Nelson Mandela said sport has the power to change the world. It has the power to unite people. And our sport has really changed everything all over the world, and in South Africa and in this boys' lives as well is amazing, and I can only thank Laureus for that.
The likes of Jean de Villiers, Brian O'Driscoll, Waisele Sereve, Mornay Duplessis, George Gregan, Dan Nicol, both the men and women's Blitzbox teams, and a number of other dignitaries hosted the team during the week that was capped off by the weekend spent watching the best 7 teams in the world slug it out. An experience never to be forgotten, lifelong dreams fulfilled and lives changed.
Sitting on the plane coming home, most of the talking points on that side was the food. Obviously, because the first night that we were there, it was different towards our food. But the main thing was the experience they had, speaking to other people about our culture of South Africa and relating it to the culture in Hong Kong. So that was the main thing that they spoke about.
Lukman Ismail is a former rugby player and is now a life coach at Cool Play. And he joined those youngsters on their epic trip to Hong Kong.
The kids have come home with more hope. Hope for the future, hope for themselves. Most of them have experienced what no one else has experienced, so now they are really turning their lives around. And some of the boys at school now have started certain programs for themselves to help the others, knowing that they must be part of a sport, they must be part of a program. And because if a trip like this can happen to them, it can happen to anyone. We'd like to do this again. The reason why is that exposure, just letting other people from other countries see how we are as South Africans and what is our challenges and how we cope with it. But the thing is that we as South Africans can learn more from other cultures as well. So I think this would be an awesome experience if Laureus and maybe Cool Play again can organize something like this in the long term, because at the end of the day we can change more lives by sending kids overseas so that they can experience more other qualities of other cultures as well.
What an unbelievable experience for this group of youngsters. Without doubt we'll be hearing about them in the years to come, and who knows, perhaps one of them could just be dotting down at Newlands for the Springboks. That brings to an end our short visit to Hong Kong. Do stay tuned for more exciting episodes of the podcast to come. Please remember to subscribe to the series. You can find us on iTunes and on Omni Radio. From me, Jean Smythe and the team, cheers.